hope everybody's had a great week. I had a really great week. I have something really fun planned for tonight. In fact, I'll wait for a few more people to come on and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I have the inspiration kit I want to show you really quick. And then we're going to use the stamp set from it to make a really fun project. So I'm going to go ahead and switch camera views. Are you ready for me to switch views? Okay. Okay. So this is the Welcome Home Inspiration Kit. And this is the December kit for, for December, right? So you can see it's got this cute little porch, cute little door, and that's what really the focus of the set is all about. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Let's just pull everything out and go for it. So let's look at the cardstock first. So we've got all of these colors of cardstock. And of course, we've got my favorite. We've got the glitter stock. Look at that color. Isn't that pretty? This glitter stock, I'm telling you, it is something else. It is the best glitter stock there is. Okay. So then you're going to have to excuse the paper because we're using like 4 sheets of it, I think, today. No, 6 sheets. So my paper pad is not really intact, but you can see it's got all of these cute sweater designs, and it is double-sided. And there are even more than what you see here. I'll show you the ones that I pulled aside for the project. But super cute. And then you've got your ribbon and your sequins. And you've got the conversation clippings, which are printed with toner, so you can foil these. And also you've got, in fact, let me pull them both out. You've got the card panels that are also printed with toner ink. And you've got 2 each of 4 patterns. So let me just show you those really quick, and then I'll take out the conversation clippings. So you've got these cute keys. You've got this cute little Christmassy scene, or winter scene anyway. And then look at this pretty flower. I am just itching to color that. I think it's gorgeous. That's just calling my name for sure. And then you've got these cute little windows.
Gotta go more to the right, babe.
Okay. Maybe I'll just move the camera a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So then you've got your conversation clippings. And by the way, let me go back to what, well, no, I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so this is the conversation clippings. We've got black and we've got white. The same sayings are on both, but you've got 2 sheets of each and they are foilable. And now we've got our awesome card bases. These are really, really nice. You can tell they're on nice, heavy cardstock, and they are my fave. And then we've got our stamps and my other stamp.
Hello?
Who did?
Gina?
Tina?
Gina?
Gina! Why can't I ever hear that right? I even this time tried to guess it and I just did it wrong. Hi, Gina. Okay, so this one's still on my Misty because we are going to use that a million times tonight. It's probably steaming because I used it so much. And so then you've got all of these awesome dies. There's 24 dies, and you've got 30 stamps. You've got all of these sayings. You've got all of these cute little pieces and bits that you can make flower arrangements. You can decorate the wreath. You can make a little swaggy thing to go around your door. The possibilities are endless. It makes really pretty backgrounds too. But I also want to point out to you that a great companion to this is the Poinsettia Builder. This was released with the holiday release, but all of these little pieces work really well together. In fact, tomorrow, I am doing a 2-parter today because the project I'm making is kind of a big one. So tonight I'm going to show you the base, and then if you can, go ahead and make what we do tonight, tomorrow morning, and then join me tomorrow evening at the same time to embellish what we create. And in just a second, I'll tell you what we are creating. How about that? So anyway, just wanted to point that out. I'm going to be using both tomorrow night when we decorate, but tonight we're definitely going to be making use of that door.
Gina said it's easier, you can call her Glitter Girl.
Glitter Girl, there you go. I like it. Okay, so what we are going to create is a 12-day advent calendar, which you probably got from the title of the video. So I'm really not surprising you, but that's okay. You have to have a little build up, right? So I'm going to explain how we're going to put that together, and we'll just go ahead and make the base. I actually have done part of it ahead of time, but just I'll walk you through this part and then I'll show you the parts that I already made, and then we will go from there. Okay? So the first thing you're going to want is you're going to want 12 by 12 like chipboard, or this is a lighter weight than some. Hi Lily, how are you? So if you don't have just like a whole bunch of 12 by 12 cardstock, this is basically, I mean, you could just take the cardstock piece off of the back of a paper pad, whatever, but it needs to be 12 inches long. And you're going to need, if you have a 12 by 12, just cut it in half, and we're going to do 4 6 by 12 pieces. Okay. So this one is already cut. I cut all mine already. So the next thing we're going to do is, this paper is from the Welcome Home pad that I just showed you. And we are going to create the background. Now you're not going to see all of this because this is going to go over the top in just a minute. But there are going to be little pieces cut out. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. But for now, let's go ahead and just put these on. So I'm just going to glue it because it's easy. And there will be, just because I was worrying about lining it up on the sides, it's okay if there's a little line down the middle. Plus it makes it easier if you end up like having a hard time making patterns match. You're not going to see it. And I'll show you why after. So let's put our first piece on. And I like using the liquid glue for that just because I can slide it a little bit if I'm off, which I usually am in more ways than one. Oh dear. Let's see, how are we going to do that? Doesn't really matter. Like I said, the middle's not going to matter. So I'm not going to stress too much. And we'll make sure it's down really well, which it is just fine. Okay, so now is the tricky part. So I just am using a rectangle die, and you can use whatever brand you have. The one I'm going to use is not available anymore, but it is a Brutus Monroe rectangle. And let's see, I need a little bit of tape before I run that through my machine. So I'm going to try to line this up probably about see if I can at least kind of eyeball it. Let's put it about right there, maybe. And I'm going to, because this is going to cut out just fine, I'm going to put another one behind it so that they'll be in the exact same spot. If I can get it on there without sliding it, let's just tape it right to the plate, because I don't want to take the chance. Because it is pretty important to make sure that these are fairly even. So now we've got that side done. Going to carefully peel off my tape. And now I am just going to, let's see, let me peel this off for a second. Okay, so now I'm just going to tape this just like that. Like I said, you want to have it even on both sides. And it would help if I actually put the die there. Kind of need that. Okay, there we go. So now we're just going to slide that through. And so now we've got that one done. So we don't have to run it through one more time. Okay, we'll get that big clunky thing out of here. Tonight we are making a 12-day advent calendar. And so I'm making one section of it. I've got the other two made, but I haven't shown them yet. But I'm just showing how to put it together so that if anybody wants to, they can put it together tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night I'm going to actually decorate it. So tonight we're just going to get the base for it and get the structure of it, and then tomorrow we'll do all the little bit more fun stuff. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now that we've got all of our little windows cut out, is we're going to attach this to...
Tina says hi.
Hi, Tina. How are you? Okay, so I'm not gluing in between because we want to fit a little tag in there. So I'm staying kind of close to the edges, trying to get my glue to work. And I'm not doing in there. I'm just doing around the edges. I think that's probably good enough. All right.
Jerry said you're welcome. She appreciates all your videos.
Jerry, you are so sweet. I sure have fun making them, and you guys are why it's so fun. Thank you so much. Okay. So now we will go on to the next part. We need our doors. We've got our base, but we're going to have 3 sections. I'll just show you what we're going to end up with. So we're going to do that one, and then I did one in a different color. And then I'm going to have to double do it so you can see it. And then I did another layer, and we'll attach them all, and there's a roof piece, but you can kind of get the idea of where we're going with this. Okay, so now for the doors, I stamped our little door from our Welcome Home stamp set, and I will show that to you. I stamped it on white, and I stamped it on gray. So what we're going to do now, I've got this one fussy cut already. In fact, I didn't really fussy cut it. I just put it in my trimmer, and I lined it up with the trimmer. And then across the bottom, you can't really tell. Yeah, it doesn't really, we don't need the mat. So I just cut straight across, and it works just fine. So now we just need to cut out this guy, and we need to make this have an opening. So let me grab my trimmer really quick. So for me, like I said, I struggle with measuring, so it's easier for me to use my trimmer. And if you'll notice on your trimmer, on the blade, both of my trimmers have it. There's a little line that marks. Let me even hold it up a little bit. Let me undo the blade. There's a little line on the side, which tells you where your blade is. So that makes it easier to do what we're going to do. Put my blade back in. Okay, so I am taking the third line in is where I'm going to cut it. And hopefully you can see this. Let me see if I can back up my camera just a little bit. Hopefully that helped. Helped, but I don't know if it helped enough. So you're just going to have to, we're not going to do it on this side because this is the hinge. So we're going to start this way so we can cut along this line. And I am so sorry I can't get the whole picture in view.
Can you turn it sideways?
Yeah, I guess I could do that. Get all sensible on me. What the heck? Logic. Not something I have when I'm doing a live very often. Okay. So we're going to watch this little line and we're going to line it up with that third line. So I've got it lined up going this way, and then I'm going to cut until I get that point to that point up along the top. So I'm going to stop right there because that's where my third line is. Okay? So now I'm going to turn it, and I'm looking at the little groove that my trimmer has to kind of line up that third line in. And it is kind of guessing, but then I'm looking at my line here and lining it up with that third line. And then I'm going to cut until I get to the third line over here. Okay, so now, it looks like I might need to change my blade here pretty quick. Looking a little ragged. Okay, so let me grab my paper snips.
Kathy says hello.
Hi, Kathy. And I'm just going to cut those little rough edges off. So now I'm just going to try to cut this down. And for me, it's easier to get that last line. We don't even need it for what we're doing. But for me, it's easier to line everything up if I start there. So now I know that that line's fairly straight. So we'll just go ahead and do the outline first, even though we're going to cut the door out. You do what works best for you. Okay, so now I feel like I can go in and go to that third line. Actually, I think I'm going to do the bottom first. Okay, so now I will cut that line. Just want to make sure I've got it lined up right. I think I'm one line off. I think we need to go one more line in. Yep. Okay. That one kind of had a thick stamp on it. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do, I use my trimmer. I have a trimmer that I just keep a scoring blade in. And that's because I just have some sort of scoring disability. I don't know what it is, but I struggle with the score boards. I just, for whatever reason, have a hard time keeping the little tool in the groove. It's silly. Okay, so now I've scored it so that our little door can open. So then I'm just going to take my crease tool and just give it an extra little help there. And now we'll glue our door onto the top of this one. Don't worry, I've done all the other doors, so that you don't have to sit through me doing that. So now our door is just a little bit fancier. So now I'm just going to add some foam tape to the back. You want to make sure you kind of stay away from getting too close to the door on the inside part of the frame. It's better to line it up on the outside part, just because if you want to slip something in, like I'm going to slip a little tag in behind the doors. So you want to be able to do that. That's why I didn't glue in between the doors. Okay. We just need to, we might have to trim this a little bit. We'll have to see. See if it shows through when we open the door. No, I think it'll be okay. We do want to put a little piece right there. You want it to be pretty well supported. Okay, so now let's put some doors on. So you can see I've got some doors ready to go. Did I tell you what paper this is? I don't think I did. The red paper that I'm using is from our Holiday Happiness stamp pad, or not stamp pad, but paper pad. And this is so cute. It's one of my favorites. There's so many cute patterns. So we're going to use, obviously, the snowflakes, and then we used this cute stripe, if I can get to it. This stripe is what's behind the blue section of the house. Okay, back to getting our little doors on. Now, my rectangle that I had to use was not as long and skinny as the door, and that's okay. We'll kind of deal with that tomorrow when we're kind of decorating it. But I'll show you why that ended up being actually a good thing. So we've got our first door on, and then I used the tag from the occasional tags die set, and you can either kind of tuck it in this way, or you can just tuck it in right here. So either way, you've got a nice little spot to tuck something in. It's not quite large enough for a gift card the way that I have mine, but you might be able to engineer something differently on your end. But I will have something planned for each of these little tags tomorrow. We're also going to want to have numbers on our doors, right? And the nice thing about a 12-day Advent is it's a little less overwhelming. Plus, you still have time to do it. You still have a few days. You could hurry and this is not too hard of an Advent to put together. You could have this done in an afternoon. Or if you're like me at night, I'm definitely...
Kathy says that's adorable.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. All right, so let's scooch this over a little bit. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it.
Jerry said this is adorable. I like the idea of a 12-day advent calendar.
Thank you, Jerry. I haven't decided for sure what I'm going to put on the tags, but what are some of your ideas? I'll tell you some of the ones I have, and you guys, I'm happy to hear ideas and suggestions. I actually kind of like the idea of doing a service one, so that the little things on the tags are, if I do this for my son, those are things that are just simple things that he can do to serve people around us, so that, you know, it's less about what am I getting for Christmas and a little bit more about what Christmas is all about, and sharing and giving back. So that's kind of where my brain is on that. Right. So now we have this one last little door, and I'm going to put a little piece of trim there. Okay. So I am going to put one here so I can kind of make sure that I'm lining them all up properly. All right. We're just going to snip that off. And we already have the basic foundation for our Advent. We're going to connect each of these, and then let me show you my plan for the top. I'm still deciding on, I think I might use the scallop die from the Simply Sweet die set to create shingles. But that will be, this will be kind of what it's like. Let me turn it sideways because I know you can't see the whole thing. Let me just move this out of the way. So you'll have to, hopefully you have a good imagination, because it's pretty hard to show the whole thing. I'll have to readjust for tomorrow maybe. Hopefully you can kind of see that. Let me see. Yeah, you can kind of tell where we're going with it. Can't really see the roof. The roof's a little longer than that, but we will do some fun stuff. Okay? So I'm done a little earlier tonight than I would typically be, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure that we could get the basics down so that maybe I could have some company tomorrow to decorate it. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, let me show you how I did the roof. All I did on the roof is I took my little T ruler, and actually I went this way, and I went to 3.5 on either side. Good night. And just cut it. So that was really simple too. You can see I've got bits and pieces everywhere. And this project is so fun. I used a fair amount of die sets in this. Darren will link everything that I used into one link so that it'll be easy for you to find. But I feel like I used all my favorite die sets. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to move these so that I don't lose anything when I go to assemble. Because that would be so unlike me, right? Okay. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we created yesterday now. So I went ahead and I attached the roof to the first row of our house. And my original intention was that I was going to put like ribbon or like a binder ring or something to connect one layer to the other. And I decided in the end that I like it better as one piece. So the reason why I cut it into 3, so we'll have this piece go here and then we'll have another layer. The reason why I did it in 3 was because it's easier with your paper sizes. So I had 12 by 12 paper, and that way it just makes it easier. So we used 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardboard, and then it also made it easy to use the 6 by 6 decorative paper. So I went ahead and I cut a whole bunch of pieces from the Simply Sweet die set. And I may add, before I take pictures and post it, I may add more, but for this, for now, it's all fine. So what I did was I also added it across the bottom. And then when you open the doors, I've got a little piece kind of trimming out that little red that comes up. So for now, let's do our middle section. We'll add our little trim at the bottom, and we'll add our trim to the insides of the doors. So I figured it takes about 3 scallops across to do the insides of the doors. And I had those all cut out. Oh, there they are. So we've got 3. There should be 1 more. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff up here today. I may be missing one. If I am, I'll just cut a new one. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that process. So I'm just going to take my...
You got your piano yet?
Donna, I did get my piano. Thanks for asking. And, you know, I was lucky enough that the music that was included with it is like for beginners. So I've got levels 1, 2, and 3 ready to go. And I've been practicing a little bit. I haven't so much this week because it's just been a little crazy with everything for Christmas and work. So maybe I will tomorrow a little bit. So if you can see, I'm just sliding this in across that little, the top of that little piece, just to finish it off a little bit. See if I can get that in there. And I don't want to glue it. I don't want the glue to cover it to where it's glued to the cardboard, because we want to be able to slide our little tag in and out of there. So be careful when you're gluing. Okay, so just to be safe, just because I was messing with that one a lot, I'm going to make sure that it's not, oh, for good reason, I'm going to make sure it's not stuck. And I did get a little close on the sides on some of them with my foam. So I'm just going to use my little palette knife to slide in there just to loosen it up a little bit if I need to. Okay, so now we can just stick some tags in here for now. Still debating on what to do with the tags. I am almost convinced, though, that I'm going to put acts of service on these. I said I would know today, but you know what? I had so many things on this one project that I decided that could wait. So I didn't. Now, I am going to put our trim along the bottom. So I'm just going to glue a line across fairly close to the bottom, because if you look at the scallop die, it's not got a lot of space above the scallops. It's pretty narrow through there. So you just want to make sure that you keep it fairly close to the end. Okay. Looks like I'm a little crooked. Need to move it just a little bit. And then I'll just take that one that has already been cut, if I can find it again. There it is. And we'll just add those last little scallops to the end. And see this little section in the middle where it peaks? That's what I'm using as my guide to know where to put it. Okay, so now I'll just turn over my piece and just trim it off. Okay, so now I'm going to glue these together, and I'm going to put something behind them to just secure it that much more. So let me move some of this out of the way again. Okay, so I'm going to glue it here. Actually, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to glue it on, excuse me, on the scallops first, and then we'll glue something to the back, okay? So, bear with me for 1 second. Because I don't really need to overlap these, because I'm going to put something on the back that will be more secure. Because obviously those little scallops, that's asking a lot of those to hold on to all of that. So while that's drying for a second, I'm going to grab something that I can use to secure the whole back. And nobody's going to see the back anyway, so I'm not really all that worried about it. I do need 2 pieces though if I want to do this. Hang on 1 second, I'm going to grab one more piece. So I'm just going to now, I think I'll just tape this rather than glue it. Oops. This tape is definitely sticky. Okay, so let's add one more strip of tissue tape. And honestly, it probably would have been better to go this way. It would have been a little bit more secure, but I'm not really worried about it coming undone. But yeah, you can learn from my mistake. I'm good at taking the bullet for you. I'll make all the crafty mistakes for you. I'm good at that, trust me. Okay. So now, and I didn't measure that out, but that's okay. So that'll just secure it a little bit more. And hopefully you get yours on straighter than I did. But again, I'm not too stressed out because it's the back. And I did end up adding just a little bit of glue to the top. Okay, so now let's go with our last section, which I already have put the trim on. So we're just going to glue that and secure that to the back too. Okay, so now we'll take this and slide that in. Make sure it's lined up pretty good. And this time we can put our tape going the other way because this time we've learned, right? For some reason it's, there we go. Hopefully it's lined up. We're going to know in a minute when I turn it over how well we did because we've got that trim that goes down the center. So I hope it lines up. Yay. Okay. I see that I really don't want people to look at the back of this because I didn't measure that right either. Okay, so the back is done. So now we've got this big fun advent. I'm thinking I probably should have done it at the end, put it together, but since I didn't, we'll just work with it, okay? So I went to my stash and I have a whole bunch of, do you guys ever use rub-ons? These were big in like the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I've probably had these that long. This company's not even around anymore. So, but I thought, okay, I need something that I can use for the numbers. So this is what I chose to use. And so I used those on kind of a craft paper. What, honey?
Donna said this is adorable.
Aw, thanks, Donna. And then I had a little 3/4 inch circle punch that I cut them out of. So I put them close together and cut them out. And then they fit perfectly on this little tag, which is from the Simply Sweet set. See, it's even got a little hole if you want to tie a ribbon in it. So I'm telling you, I think you should still get it. I think they're still on the sale. So check it out. Okay, so the way I arranged this is that we would have the blue ones where the red paper is and the red where the blue paper is. So let's do that next because that will free up a lot of the little bits of stuff on my table here. So now we've used our Simply Sweet on this. We used it here. We used it for the little tag. So let's move on to a different die set. We're going to use, this is from the Tier Tray set, which I reach for that all the time too. It's fun. I love all of the little things that you can do with it. And I heard that there might be more sets coming out to coordinate with that. So if you have not purchased the Tier Tray die set, definitely might be something you want to add to your Christmas list because it is so fun and it has so many things you can do with it. So we're just going to add our little green bows.
Sorry she's late. She had birthday dinner for her husband.
Oh, Jerry, that sounds like fun. I'm just glad you're here. Did he have a happy birthday? Hold that there for just a second. This glue is pretty good. It doesn't usually take very long, but...
Donna said awesome. She loves the Tier Tray set.
Yeah, isn't that a fun set, Donna? I love that one. I love the occasional tags. There's some sets that just are so versatile that I'll tell you, I reach for them again and again. Darren, are you in a place where you can see how much the Simply Sweet dies are right now? Or if there's any on there still? Okay. So we'll just keep adding our bows for a minute. $5?
$5.
Okay, you guys. I'm telling you what, you will kick yourself if you do not buy the Simply Sweet dies if you don't have them. These are so useful. I seriously use them almost every time I make something. So definitely grab them while they're $5. All right. I love this little bow. It's just this simple little die cut that just is perfect for finishing something off. Yeah, it's a good one. I love that one, Donna. All right. We have one more row of bows and then we'll go on to the next thing. And the fun thing about a project like this is once you've got the foundation down, you can use scraps. In fact, I wanted to point out and forgot to. So all of these little tags that I did for the doors, I used you know how I cut the inside? Here, let me show you on this one. How I cut out the window so that you could see the paper behind it. I used all of those little rectangles to make the tags. So I didn't have to cut more paper. I had plenty of paper. It worked out perfect. Okay, so now we've got all of this down here. I think is pretty well set, other than I may add this to the bottom because I think that would be kind of cute. This is snow from the die set of the month. It's from Welcome Winter. So I just used this little thing of snow and thought it would be kind of cute to make it look like there's snow gathering at the door. I'm kind of liking that. What do you guys think? I wasn't sure I needed it, but now that I'm using it, I think it's kind of cute. All right, I think we're gonna add it. It just gives it that little something extra. And I'm doing mine, I'm leaning it towards the left so it doesn't interfere with opening the door. So again, I'm just gonna pop that back out that way. I think that just brightened this whole thing up a little bit. And we're not done. I want to do something fun where the roof is. I was going to add to it, but I think I was going to add to the shingles. Whoops. But I'm not sure if we'll need to after what I do. We'll have to see. That's kind of the fly by the seat of my pants part that I was talking about. All right. On our last one, okay, I like that. So now let's work on the top. So I cut yet another die from the Simply Sweet set. And that's these little swirlies. I thought they looked kind of like a gust of blizzardy snow or something. So I thought those would be fun. And then I've got all of these little pieces of pine from the new die of the month, Welcome Winter. And then I've got the pine cones from that as well. I also took our Welcome Home stamps and dies, and I cut and embossed with Alabaster the wreath. And then I made this bow from this is actually from the birthday box die set. I just thought that would be kind of cute there in the middle. And we've got some snowflakes from the tier tray. And like I said, the pine cones. So we'll just let's start assembling. So I'm just going to add some glue here and there. That's probably the hardest part about these dies is just that they're so skinny, but that's what makes them so fun. They're so intricate and so cute. And I'll show you on the die set, they came as just a little strawberry vine, but I use them all the time for all kinds of other things. Okay. So that's going to give us a little bit of a foundation for our little pieces of pine. I'm going to add a little bit of glue just so that little guy is not, it's just asking to have something caught on it. So we'll just nip that in the bud right now. Okay, so let's add some glue. All right, so we'll add this little guy. Might want to move that over a little bit. Okay, so now I think maybe we'll start. Do you want to start with this and build around it maybe? I think maybe. All right, I've got some little snowflakes we can add. And then let's go ahead and get our pine cones glued together. And then I think we might want to add some poinsettias to this.
Donna loves the swirls on the roof.
Thanks, Donna. Aren't they fun? I just think they're the cutest little die anyway. So I'm just gluing the top layer of the pine cone. Okay, so now I'm going to move this for just a second. And I'm going to stamp. I've got, let me show you what stamps I'm using. I'm using this stamp, and I'm using this leaf, this leaf, this leaf. And I'm using this stamp and this stamp. So I've got the Welcome Home set, and I've got the Poinsettia Builder, which I think are a great combination. I think the artwork really works well together, and it just gives you that many more options of things you can do. And then I'll end up using the dies for those as well. So let's just stamp these out really quick. And I'm just using our Raven ink, which I absolutely love. And I think I'll go ahead and stamp this twice. Once down here, and then I'll just turn the paper over and stamp the other way. All right, hopefully I have that lined up because I didn't have my magnet on there very good. So let's see how we do with the second go, and there's always the other side of the paper if we need it, right? And actually, this is not my good paper, so if it doesn't work, I'm going to grab alcohol paper. All right, we'll give it one more go just to...
Donna, ours is George Blake.
Hi, Donna, how are you? We're glad you're here. All right, let's see what we got. Yep, those look pretty good. So let's just do a quick color on these. I'm going to use, probably going to use my Colorista markers. So I mix our alcohol marker brands all the time. I don't think it matters. So I am using Colorista. This is Cocktail Pink.
Donna says you're doing great. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well.
Sure, we've done so far.
Yeah, I'll show her in just one sec. I'll color these first, and then I'll show you what we're adding them to. All right, let's do the darkest. Now on the, we've got, this is labeled because there's 3 different colors on the tri-blends. So we're gonna go with the darkest one. do the lightest on the tri-blend, which I'm curious to see how close it is to the cocktail pink. Yeah, it's just a little bit darker. Not much though. They complement each other pretty well. I'll just take that last, run through. So the colorista markers have a bullet tip and a brush tip, and I like that. I never use the chisel tips. Do you guys ever use the chisel tips on like the Copic markers? Okay, so now let's grab yellow, and I'm just going to push that in a little bit just so that it doesn't smear. I'll just kind of clean it off a little bit. Like I said, I know that I didn't leave enough time for it to really dry. I'm going to do the yellow first on all of them really quick. Okay. Okay, now let's just grab our leaves and we will have all of our poinsettias colored. Okay, one more, and then I can get them die cut. All right, so we need our die cuts for Welcome Home, which is for this size, wasn't it? And this size, and this size. Aren't these pretty? I just love these. I think it's such a pretty stamp set. Both of them are gorgeous. I think I'm gonna have to make some tags with that poinsettia set too. It's just so pretty. Don't worry, I'm not doing it tonight though. Okay, we will sort these out after the live. Okay, let me move some of this out of the way so we can bring back our monstrously large project. So I think this little guy needs to be popped up. So we're going to put some foam behind that wreath. Okay, so I'm only going to put it on the top and bottom of the wreath, not on the sides, because we may want to tuck our little pines behind it a little bit. So we'll stick that on there. I think we'll put it up a little higher. Is that pretty well centered? That's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so now let's put the pines on and then we'll put the bow on. So I'm not gonna glue the whole thing down because I don't want to take all the movement out of the sides. So I'm just gonna glue it down at the base of the branch, if that makes sense. So that the tips can curl up a little bit. Okay, so the only thing we have left to do is we need to be able to hang this up somehow. I'm going to eliminate the frustration with trying to find just exactly the right red and just go with white. So I think I'm just going to punch a hole in either side. So I just took my hole punch and just went all the way in on either side. So I would know what I did. All right, so do I just want to do, I think I might just do knots on the back. So we'll just tie it a couple of times. Maybe 3, just to be completely certain our knot is big enough to not go through the hole. And I think I tied that, it was either 4 or 5 times, so we'll just kind of gauge it as we go. That seems big enough. Okay. We'll trim our ribbon down so it doesn't show through the other side. Our little doors. And I didn't write anything on my tags, but like I said, I think I'm going to put little acts of service and let my son open these. Remind him that Christmas is for serving other people. All right. Thank you so much, and I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope that you have some time to have some crafty time yourselves, and that maybe you're inspired to create something on your own. And I will see you next Friday on my regular time. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.